$5 trillion of wealth. Their wealth is, for the most part, managed through registered investment advisors who now, at least half of them or some portion of them, can just buy the ETF. And so you're seeing, a step function in new owners of Bitcoin, which is driving, I would say, a frenzy in the whole crypto ecosystem, right? So how crypto always works is Bitcoin gets bought and some people sell a little bit to buy Ethereum and they try to play the catch-ups and the altcoins. And I would say we've gotten to very frothy levels. You can see it in the funding rates of the altcoin market, how much you get paid to actually lend out your coins in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the alts. And so you saw it in the equities, the public equity markets, right? MicroStrategy, Marathon, all the kind of public equity bellwethers really went parabolic along with Bitcoin. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see some correction and some consolidation. But I'm very loath to pick a Bitcoin high because I really do believe this is price discovery. Will we test the old high? Most likely. And you'll probably have some consolidation. But I still think we're going to end the year much higher.
It's interesting to hear you kind of come in with some caution in the middle of this euphoria. It begs the question, what's also the new low?
And it's part of investing. You could say the same with Nvidia or Tesla or anything that, has monster moves. Everyone has FOMO. And so, yes, some investors are going to buy at the wrong level and then stop out at the wrong level. What has been unbelievably impressive about the core Bitcoin community is just how resilient they've been. Down, I remember doing an interview with you a year ago, at 18,000. And the core Bitcoiners just took pain. And so I don't think the core group of people that have owned this thing and really loved it and promoted it, there are no sellers there. Michael Saylor ain't selling. And the, new people are going to kind of ease in. Listen, I don't think you're buying it into your 401k and selling it a month later, right? And so most of this new money, I think, is going to be sticky money or hodler money in crypto terms. But the retail, the young speculation that's happening on, all the apps and on Robinhood and on Coinbase and everywhere else, that's going to have blow off tops and blow off bottoms, and people are going to get chopped up like they always do in speculative manias.
Listen, if you think about what's happening right now, that the demand stays constant. Of course, we've seen more demand with these Bitcoin ETFs. And you have the halving where you'll have the new coins minted daily dropping. We know that miners don't control the whole market, right? There are still a lot of large holders out there. What do you think the float really looks like right now?
So now think about it. Before the halving, with that 60,000 Bitcoin, it's about $54 million a day of new supply, right? We have one customer who is one of the retail apps that pretty much buys $30 to $35 million a day just with us. And I'm sure we're not the only person they buy with, right? There is a tremendous global demand for Bitcoin. And so when you see what's driving the market day to day right now is that 8 o'clock at night, all the ETFs talk about how much they bought or sold, and it was $500 million or $400 million. As long as those numbers stay positive, you're going to see some momentum in Bitcoin. The first day they go negative, people are going to sell off Bitcoin because they think, the ETF funds are going to slow. And so that's kind of like the insider's way of looking at this in the short term. But that's a little myopic. Let's look each month at what the total flows into Bitcoin is, which means that lots of people are getting leveraged. I think the market is too leveraged right now. It happens after huge runs. You have leverage at the max, at the highs. There will be a washout. I don't know when it is, today, tomorrow, 2 weeks, a month. It'll be, I hate to call things healthy washouts because it never feels healthy when you lose money. And when there's a washout, the price will go down. But there will be a washout. People can't sustain this much leverage. And remember, a lot of the offshore trading platforms can give you 50, 60, 70 to 1 leverage. And so you got a lot of, millennials and Gen Z YOLOing it. And they will get some will make money and a lot of them will get wiped out.
How do you describe the difference now, Mike, between the leverage you're seeing in the system versus what you saw in 2021 that caused a lot of levered players to go bankrupt?
Well, I think the big institutional players have less leverage, right? I mean, you're not, very few people are buying an ETF. They know we need to do something. And, it's not politically the right time, but I think it'll happen as soon as we get a fresh start.
Now, how do you see other crypto-related stocks, particularly the exchange? If you think about Coinbase, right? You think about yesterday, and a lot of people talking about how you can still trade ETFs, but there was some trouble trading on Coinbase for some users yesterday. Does that impact
it's a good news. It's a good news, bad news. They were so busy, they had so much business that the circuit breakers went off, and so. Listen, I'm sure Brian Armstrong is a very, smart guy, and they've got a huge engineering team, and they are probably working really hard. That doesn't happen again, but it just tells you they are in pole position in this country, in this market. And listen, if I'm candid, it's been un-American and unfair that some companies got through under the Jay Clayton regime and are able to access the capital markets. And so I say this all the time. A house in America in 2011 cost $190,000. Today it's $400,000. That's the median house, right? So we have debased our currency. We've had asset inflation. At times we've had goods inflation. When you're printing as much money as we're printing, when we have constant now 5-6% of budget deficits, hard assets go up, and Bitcoin is a hard asset for the new generation. It is digital gold. And if you just keep on digital gold, this is why people are buying it. And that narrative is powerful. What would change that narrative, that adoption narrative? Well, we have a new president that probably not Biden or Trump, and he gets Congress to pass a balanced budget amendment or a Simpson-Bowles amendment. And we start trying to take that 130% of debt to GDP back to 80. Right now it's headed to 250. And so that is literally if you just look at the graph of debt to GDP in America and many other countries, and that is the advertisement for why people